Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
Hi, this is Linda Lang from ThoughtChange.com. I'm here today with Elisabeth, writer, teacher, and dolphin whisperer. Claire's written a beautiful, beautiful book called Reconcile, how her dolphin friends helped her heal from a very tragic and traumatic event in her life. And she's going to share some dolphin wisdom with us today.
Thank you.
Claire lives in the beautiful state of Hawaii and gets to go swimming with the dolphins every day.
Today, it's still very early for me. I haven't had my swim yet, but I did have a most magical experience a few days ago. Sometimes the dolphins are extra snuggly. And so I had one of those experiences where they come right, within kissing distance. I never touch them, always have my hands behind my back and very aware not to be reaching out. And yet they come so close, just gazing into your eyes. So I had one of those days with lots of eye contact and where they're circling and circling and the little ones are coming up. And then I'll dive down and they'll sort of swirl around. It's kind of like being in another world.
Well, even just being underwater is very much like another world, really.
Yeah, it is.
So how do you think the dolphins helped you to heal?
Yeah, well, there were really two different things that the dolphins, I would say they helped me with everything, but two major events in my life where the dolphins really helped me heal. And the first one was physical pain. So I had really an unexplained kind of full body breakdown when I was in college. So I was racing in triathlons, very active, and my joints just started to disintegrate, really. And at one point I couldn't walk, I couldn't use a pencil, and I tried everything to try to feel better. I went to doctors of all kinds and nothing helped. Finally, I found my way to meditation, but I was 20 and that think of nothing was not going to happen. Right, my mind was too crazy. So I found my way to a clairvoyant type meditation where I was taught how to watch energy move throughout my body, and that helped. It was the only thing that helped. One of the meditation teachers brings people here to Big Island to swim with the wild spinner dolphins. And so I had this experience where I was here and I think I'd only ever really been in the ocean once or twice before. So I was out here with the dolphins and, the meditation had helped, but I still had a lot of pain. And I was out with the dolphins and my pain came back really strongly. And I thought I was going to have to go back to shore. But then this one dolphin comes up to me and really makes eye contact and dives down and blows this ring of bubbles. And it's the intercom in my mind comes on. And it's like, swim through the bubbles, And I think, well, I got nothing to lose, right? So I dive down through the bubbles. And at that moment, the dolphin comes around and does his sonar. And by the time I come to the surface of the water, the pain is gone. And what's even more amazing is not only did the physical pain go, and not just in that moment, but even previous, before the physical healing, there was something about the dolphins when they looked me in the eye. It's like they saw me to my soul. I'd never felt that before. Never had that experience from a person. And so it was like all the, the anxiety and the not enoughness and the shame and everything that we all carry around, it just released in the presence of these benevolent beings. So I was hooked.
So did your pain return?
No, It did not.
Do you think that part of the issue of that pain was all of that self-judgment and not good enoughness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. In fact, through the pain and the healing, I completely changed my trajectory in life. So it was my ankles that had the most pain. And I feel, metaphorically, I was walking in the wrong direction, and I was really being told, you can't take any more steps in this direction. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that those are connected. And then for years, that's what I shared with people in a private healing practice, connecting them with more who they really are and who they want to be. And all kinds of physical problems disappeared in that process.
One of the things you said as you were speaking was a clairvoyant meditation where you could watch the energy inside your body. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the process that I learned, that I still do every day, is called running energy. So you ground your body to the earth, and then there's a process of connecting to the earth energy and the cosmic energy, and you actively pull those two energies into your body, and there's a particular pathway that they follow, and you clean out your system, right? It's like the Chinese saying, running water cleans itself, right? So you clean out your channels and you bring your energy into your sixth chakra when you do this. And so one of the things that's so cool about that is that on the first, you awaken your third eye and you begin to be able to see things that maybe you only felt before. You learn to have this really beautiful separation. So you're no longer maybe feeling somebody else's pain or experiencing things in a way that's debilitating. Instead, you can just see them. And so the meditation is about grounding and moving the energy throughout your body. But one of the side effects, I suppose, of that is that you start to see images and you start to notice, oh, that's what I've been stuck on, or that's what's been controlling me. It's like therapy. And then once you see it, then you can just remove it, take that out of your energy field.
So you're no longer a healer, but you still teach. You teach through your words, through your writing.
So I do teach through my words, my writing. I also, the woman who brought me here on meditation retreat 20 years ago by now, I now teach with her. So I named the process that I began doing after my dolphin experiences Naia Healing, and Naia is the Hawaiian word for dolphin. And so I had that as a private practice where, in connecting people to really the essence of who they are, as opposed to this who I should be, who I think I am supposed to be, connecting them to the truth of who they are and helping them connect with what's right for them, that catalyzed a healing. And so now, rather than working one-on-one with people on that, I teach how to do that. So in groups, and it's also, like you said, it comes in my writing. So I teach with that. The woman who brought me here, I also teach here, various retreat centers on the island.
So how do you think the dolphins taught you that? Like, they don't speak English. They guide you through a process.
Yes, well, we don't speak Dolphin, but I think they speak all the human languages, or they certainly understand. It's a really good question, and I suppose I could just the best description is that it's a transmission. You know, the historian Plutarch was quoted, we'll see if I can get the quote right, to the dolphin alone, nature has granted what all philosophers seek, friendship for no advantage. And there's this unconditional, benevolent altruism that just comes through in the dolphins. And when you're in the presence of that, just that field, it changes you. Something happens on a cellular level. And I see it everywhere. You know, people have actually measured the brain waves of people who've been near the dolphins in the water, and you begin to produce theta brain waves, which is that brain wave of oneness and all is well. It's the place where you go right before you fall asleep and right as you wake up, and it's just this tremendous peace. And so the dolphins have a way of catalyzing that state in people, and you just see like the dolphin smile, you know, sprouting on all these people. And for whatever reason, I feel I've been asked to bring that wisdom to land, you know, as you said, to be the wisdom keeper of that medicine. And I am just grateful that they have chosen me, I'm sure, amongst many others.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful story you share with us. Your admiration and your connection with the dolphins. I mean, it's not really possible for all of us humans, wherever we live, to have a one-on-one dolphin encounter. So are you able to, you know, connect people with dolphins? Or?
That's what I used to do one-on-one, that now I do more in groups. And it's quite amazing how you can still feel the energy. You know, we can bring it into the room, and I can still see that the dolphin smile sprouting, even if we're on land, you know, just calling the energy in. I think there's something, you know, the body work Feldenkrais method. Have you heard of that? So I'm definitely not an expert in it, but I do know that one of the principles is that through these gentle motions, once you get the body into alignment, there's such a resonance with the body that the body wants to stay there once you kind of aid it into the proper alignment physically. And there's something very similar about the dolphins. It's like they guide you to that spiritual alignment, and it's so powerful. It's like all your little cells just line up and they want to stay there.
Well, after reading your book, and there's one particular experience you share of being in the bubbles, being in the dolphin bubbles, and how somehow that magically healed you. I'd say it's almost like you don't have to do anything, right? It's not a process that you have to do when you're with the dolphins. It's just being with them.
Correct. Yes. And it's similar. Well, it's the same thing, really. When you call the energy in, it's an allowing. It's an allowing. It's not a doing. And that in and of itself, I think, is a huge paradigm shift.
So you've told us that it helped you to heal your physical body. The second major healing the dolphins gave you was more emotional, correct?
Yes. Yes. So after having moved here, my mother came to visit just after a few months, and she had been here with me a few other times, and so she knew my love for the dolphins. She'd been swimming with the dolphins with me, and she was thrilled to be in my happy place with me. she and I hadn't always had the easiest relationship, but this was one thing where she knew she was coming to my place of bliss. And this trip, on the second day of her visit, the first time we got in the water to swim with the dolphins, she actually died in the water during that swim. And it was completely unexpected. She was healthy as far as we all knew. And it was the most traumatic event I've ever experienced. And yet my healing place still was the ocean with the dolphins, even though that's where my mother died. So the bay where we were swimming, where she died, is the bay where I swim every day. It's the same place that I had the physical healing. And so after her sudden death, I still would go to the ocean every day, and the dolphins mothered me really through my grieving process.
So it's not like a one-time swimming with a dolphin, you're completely healed. It's a process. It is a process.
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad that you say that. It can come across sometimes as, you know, dip your toes in these waters once and all is healed. And that's not really how healing works. You know, yes, there are these quantum leaps, and I experienced many, and yet it is a process. And my book is in great part about my recovery from my mother's passing, and how the dolphins helped me reconcile, which is why that's the title of the book, my relationship with my mom, my relationship with myself through the trauma, through the guilt, really, because I felt responsible for bringing my mother to the water, for not taking better care of her. And, you know, the dolphins helped me through that. And at this point, I can see the magic in that being her way to go.
Well, thank you so much, Claire, for sharing. I'm wondering if you have any last tips for any of our listeners who might feel like they're out of alignment, or they're not good enough, or there's something wrong with them. Any tips to help them start that journey into wholeness? Surprise!
Surprise! Well, no, I mean, I feel like that's my work.
I think that's all of our work, really.
Yes, but it's interesting as you ask, because I feel like that is exactly what I'm being asked to do. So yes, hold on. Okay, so it's a brilliant question, and my answer is, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and just guide you through just this tiny little process. So if you're listening, you can go ahead and just take a deep breath and close your eyes. And then connect with the very base of your spine with your tailbone. And then, using the faculty of your imagination, create a line of energy between the base of your spine and the center of the earth. It can be a color, a waterfall, a chain of monkeys, anything you want. And then allow that connection to take anything that is not you. So let any tension any pain, any of those circular thoughts, voices. And the thing is, you don't even have to know what this connection is taking. Just feel anything that's not you melting out of your system, your cells, your energy, your thoughts, just melting, releasing down this grounding cord into the earth. Mother Earth has this wonderful way of taking our fears and our pain and turning it into flowers and trees. It's all energy to her. And then postulate, just decide that it is so, that this process continues as you breathe. And then the next step is to imagine a huge golden sun of energy above your head. This is healing energy. You can even reach up and feel it. Your hands might tingle. And then just allow that to come in, filling up all the spaces that you just created with the release. And you can sit here for a few moments, just allowing that process to continue, the releasing of what does not serve you and the bringing in of the neutral, golden, healing energy. And the brilliance of this simple process is that it begins to flush out those things that get in the way of you connecting to your true essence, knowing who you really are. And if you do that regularly, you'll notice that those voices of not enoughness begin to fade into the background.
Well, that was lovely, Claire. Thank you for sharing. I can see that it would be very powerful and a fantastic way to get that message to your unconscious mind to let go of all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we get caught up in the conscious mind so much, and that's one of the things I've always loved about this process, is that you don't really have to think about it. You just let it happen, and that which is not you will leave on its own.
Thank you again for being our guest.
Thank you for having me, Linda.
Please share your information, Claire, so that our listeners can reach out and go read this amazing book.
Yes, here's my book. It's available on Amazon. My website is claireelisabeth.com. And the only thing you need to keep in mind is that I do spell Elisabeth with an S. So it's claireelisabeth.com. And you can email me at claire@claireelisabeth.com. And I'd love to hear from you.
Perfect. We'll make sure to put all those links in the show notes. I hope you have enjoyed this most interesting conversation about dolphins this week on Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. Please check out some of our other podcasts and make sure you subscribe. You'll catch me at thoughtchange.com. Bye for now.